أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ثم الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه الأخيار أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. We are completing the last topic under the first chapter of ilm al-Balāgha per this book, yani the ilm al-Ma'ani, the first section of Balāgha in this book, which is the ilm al-Ma'ani. I told you from the beginning that there are three sciences that makes up the Balāgha: the ilm al-Ma'ani, ilm al-Bayan, and the ilm al-Badi'. Now, every book you pick, they have the arrangement. Some begin with ilm al-Bayan, ilm al-Ma'ani, and then ilm al-Badi'. Some begin with the ilm al-Badi', but this began with the ilm al-Ma'ani. And so we are towards the ending of the al-Ma'ani. We introduced the topic al-Ijaz, wal-Itnab, wal-Musawa. Al-Musawa, as we said, is parity, yani normal speaking. So there is not much to be said about it. But al-Ijaz, which is brevity, and then al-Itnab, which is verbosity, they have subtopics, or they have certain things we need to know about them. And so inshallah, in this session, we look at the أقسام الإيجاز, that is the classification of Ijaz. Ijaz being brevity. How or what types of brevity do we have? How do we reach brevity? Jamil. He says, Al-Ijazu. Sorry. It says, الإيجاز إما أن يكون بتضمن العبارة القصيرة معاني كثيرة. You know, being brief, saying something small to cover a lot of meanings. And sorry in advance if I'm coughing, I'm having a lot of issues. So sometimes you saying a short statement to represent a higher meaning or a larger meaning could be done in two main ways. You could either use words that have large wings to cover a lot of meanings. So sometimes, let's say words like as-sa'a, right? As-sa'a could be hour, moment, judgment day, clock, watch, and all that. And it could come with a lot of meanings, Jamil. So something like that. You use words or expressions that could have dalalat that makes the meaning wider. So in the sentence, you've said everything. You've not omitted anything, but the sentence is small and conveys a larger meaning. And there is a second one where you've spoken about the al-hazf in the beginning. Sometimes, based on the nature of the statement, some parts of it automatically refers to some part of it. So the second part, you don't need to mention it. Jamil. So when I mentioned that we played soccer today, we were in the park and all that, they were in the park, automatically we play soccer today shows that we're in the park and stuff like that. So we don't need to mention that we're in the park. So when the part of the sentence suffices for the others, you can do hazf. When you do the hazf, what happens is that the statement becomes shorter but conveys all that long meaning. So you could do ijaz by using short statements with vocabularies and arrangement that conveys a larger meaning. Or you could take out some part of the sentence to make it short and still convey the larger meaning. So it says, Al-Ijazu imma an yakuna bitadammuni al-ibarati al-qasirati ma'aniya kathiratin. Sometimes the ijaz could be by having a short expression that conveys a lot of meaning. وهو مركز إناية البلاغاء. البلاغاء is the jamu of baligh, the eloquent people, the scholars of Balāgha. This is where they focus, not you doing hazf. Hazf, almost everybody can do it, though it has some finesse with it. But then using small statement to represent larger meaning without hazf is what shows higher skills. So that is where the Balāgha, the people of Balāgha, they focus. So it says, وَبِهِ تَتَفَاوَتُ أَقْدَارُهُمْ. It is with this that their aqdar, there are differences. Some have higher regards in Balāgha, and some would say that they are below this. We say that, oh, haza ablagu min haza al-kalam ablagu min haza. So that kind of level, differences in levels, is determined by this kind of Balāgha. So when we say tafawut, that is the differences in their levels. Jamil says, well, I wanted to find a very simple expression for this. Says, well, this kind of Ijaz is called Ijazu Qisarin. Here Ijaza, because it's what you sama. So Ijazu Qisarin is the one that you don't do any hazf. Just say a short statement to represent a larger meaning. نحو قوله تعالى, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَكُمْ فِي الْقِصَاصِ حَيَاتٌ يَا أُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, right? Says that وَلَكُمْ فِي الْقِصَاصِ حَيَاتٌ, in the law of retaliation you save lives, you have life. So there is life in the law of retaliation. Now this statement is very small, but it has a lot, because the qisas itself shows one party has committed a sin and shows how the sin, not the sin, one party has maybe committed a crime and shows how the criminal should be treated, and it shows when you treat the criminal like that, what would be the reward or what will be the benefit to the society. It says وَلَكُمْ فِي الْقِصَاصِ حَيَاتٌ, أي لَكُمْ حَيَاتٌ, you have life. فِي الْقِصَاص, qisas is retaliation. Somebody does this, do the same to the person. That kind of law it deters people from committing certain crimes. And again, let me call your attention. We need to read the what's it called? The Sharh of Sheikh. It's not that difficult. So you look at here, you see هذه عبارة مختصرة لكنها جمعت بين الحكم. The ayah, it has combined the hukum, which is the ruling, وكيفية تنفيذه, and how to activate the hukum, how to execute the ruling, والغاية منه, and the purpose of that particular, the goal or the purpose of that particular ruling. So what is the hukum? It says al-hukmu al-qisas. The ruling or judgment is qisas, retaliation. Al-ghayatu minhu, the goal from that is that you save life. And so the hukum is an yuf'ala bil jani kama fa'ala. The one that commits the crime, do same to him. Now when you read further, he compares between that and where the Jahiliyyah people, they say al-qatlu anfa lil-qatli. Yani it's popular among them that killing is more preventive of killing. Yani when you kill, it prevents killing, Jamil. But then let's here compare these two statements. In the period of Jahiliyyah, this statement was seen as very baligh because it's short, but it says a lot. And when you kill, you save, you prevent killing. But if you look at their statement, you realize that al-qatlu and al-qatlu, it shows that both are killing, yani giving it the name qatl. But when you look here, you see that it's called al-qisas. Yani the one you are going to be doing to the criminal is called qisas, retaliation. So it's giving that feel, that positive feel. Yani kalam ijabi. It doesn't sound negative, al-qatl. So it shows retaliation. Also, when you look at al-qatlu anfa lil-qatli, it could be like the way the Shamfara was killing. You know Shamfara, right? The poet in the Jahiliyyah. It is said that he was part of the Su'uluk. Those who were a bit black, like color like this, they were among the Arabs then, and they, one or two things happen, they leave and they'll go and live in the mountains and they'll be behaving wild and stuff. He was part of such, but his father was killed among his people. So even when he left and was in the wilderness, he promised himself, he said he will kill about 100 people in replacement. So he used to come back every day with his arrow to shoot somebody, to kill somebody. So let's look at it this way. Al-qatlu anfa lil-qatl could mean that somebody kills a family member, somebody kills your family member, you go and kill about 4 people. It's qatl, right? It doesn't show qisas. It doesn't show retaliation. Al-qisas isn't like that. The one who killed, then the person is retaliation, so you just have to kill the person. Jamil. And also al-qatlu anfa lil-qatl doesn't really tell you the reward of doing that, what you benefit from that. Though it says anfa lil-qatl, it stops killing. But then if you look at the walakum fil qisasi hayatun, when you do qisas retaliation, you save lives. But if it is just qatl, as I just showed to you, I kill your brother, you go and kill 3 of my brothers. We see it here in tribal fight and this conflict. That's what happens. So you find that the verse of the Quran, that short expression, is more baligh than this. Though الفرق بين كلام العباد وبين كلام الله كالفرق بين الله والعباد, as the scholars they say. The difference between the words of Allah and the words of us humans is just the difference between Allah and the humans. Jamil. So you read the whole sharh. And then he says that وَإِمَّا أَن يَكُونَ بِحَذْفِ كَلِمَةٍ أَوْ جُمْلَةٍ أَوْ أَكْثَرَ مَعَ قَرِينَةٍ تُعَيِّنُ الْمَحْذُوفَ. As I said, وَيُسَمَّى إِيجَازُ حَذْفٍ. So aside the إِيجَازُ قِصَرٍ, you have إِيجَازُ حَذْفٍ, where you do إِيجاز by omitting certain sentences, omitting certain words. So you could omit a word, could omit a sentence, or even more. Jamil. So we call that ijazu hazfin. Says for hazful kalimati, omission of a word, ka hazfi la, like for example the omission of la fi qawli imri al-qais, as Imru al-Qais has said in his poet, فَقُلْتُ يَمِينُ اللَّهِ أَبْرَحُ قَائِدًا وَلَوْ قَطَّعُ رَأْسِي لَدَيْكِ أَوْ أَوْصَالِي. He swears by Allah. فَقُلْتُ يَمِينُ اللَّهِ, he swears, and then he says أَبْرَحُ قَائِدًا, and we know كَانَ وَأَخْوَاتُهَا, right? Part of it, we come to the كَانَ, أَصْبَحَ, مَا زَالَ, and all that. Then you come to مَا بَرِحَ. The bariha, it works as part of the كَانَ وَأَخْوَاتُهَا if preceded by an article of negation. So if it is present tense, then you say la abrahu. If it is past tense, then you say ma bariha. Jamil. Or ma barihtu. So when he says yaminullahi abrahu qa'idan, qa'idan, yani here it is in the negation form. You can't understand it as positive. La abrahu qa'idan. That is what he means. Yani, I swear I will not stop sitting. I will not stop sitting here. لو قطعوا رأسي, even if they cut my head, لديك وأوصالي. Even if they cut my head at your place, yani I'll keep sitting at your doorstep. Even if they cut my head, I will stay here. Now, anybody that reads this voice knows that there is a la here. And it is actually la abrahu qa'idan. But he takes it out because when you read by Allah, or I swear by Allah, you can't say I will stop sitting here even if they cut my head. No. It is, the meaning is supposed to be I will not stop sitting here. Jamil. Just like Sayyidina Musa said in the Quran, La abrahu hatta abluga majma' al-bahrayn aw amdiya hukba. But here we get to know that there is a la because abrahu works with the article of negation. Jamil. So he has omitted a word. وَحَذْفُ الْجُمْلَةِ كَقَوْلِهِ تَعَالَى, and where a sentence was omitted, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَإِن كَذَّبُوكَ فَقَدْ كُذِّبَ رُسُلٌ مِّن قَبْلِكَ. So if you look at such a sentence, فَإِن كَذَّبُوكَ, you know in is adatu shart, right? So when you see adatu shart, you are looking at the jumlatu shart And then this is supposed to be the jawab shart. So فَإِن كَذَّبُوكَ, if they falsify you, if they belie you, if they say you are lying, فَقَدْ كُذِّبَ الرُّسُلٌ مِّن قَبْلِكَ, then prophets have been falsified before you. Now, please stay with me on this note and understand some very beautiful style in Arabic language. What is the shart? When we say shart, it shows you that this jawabu shart happens with the occurrence of the jumla to shart. And if I tell you in tajtahid tanja, that's how it comes, right? If you work hard, you would pass. Now, look at this. In tajtahid tanja, if you learn, you pass. What about in lam tajtahid? If you do not learn, you will not pass. So the jawabu shart is dependent on the jumla to shart to occur. But look at this style of shart we have here. فَإِن كَذَّبُوكَ, if they falsify you, فَقَدْ كُذِّبَ رُسُلٌ مِّن قَبْلِكَ, prophets before you had been falsified. Does the second statement depend on the occurrence of the first one? No. If they falsify you or they don't falsify you, the prophets before you, they have been falsified. There is nothing that history we can do about it. When the prophets came with their stories and all that, they were falsified. Sayyidina Nuh, Sayyidina whoever came, Sayyidina Musa, Sayyidina Isa, all of them, when they came, they were falsified. It was said that they were bringing falsehood and all that. So here, what seems like the jawabu shart is not the jawabu shart. It's not the jawabu shart, because if it is jawabu shart, then it has to depend on the occurrence of the jumla to shart to also occur. But here it's not like that. So فَإِن كَذَّبُوكَ فَقَدْ كُذِّبَ رُسُلٌ مِّن قَبْلِكَ, the jawabu shart is hidden somewhere here. What is the jawabu shart? فَتَأَسَّ وَاصْبِرْ. Yani if they فَإِن كَذَّبُوكَ فَتَأَسَّ وَاصْبِرْ, أو وَإِن كَذَّبُوكَ فَاصْبِرْ. If they falsify you, be patient. Now then you say فَقَدْ كُذِّبَ رُسُلٌ مِّن قَبْلِكَ. So in the bayan of such a verse, you have to know that the jawabu shart is hidden there. What are we seeing here? I will show you some examples. I was watching a podcast recently. So this second part, that is not the jawabu shart, is called illatul jawab al-mahdhuf. Illatul jawabi al-mahdhufi. That shows you the jawab that has been mahzuf. So it's like saying, if they falsify you, just take solace. Just be patient and take solace in the fact that prophets before you were also falsified. Jamil. In the podcast, this is what do they even call it? They have a name like that for it, for poets. And in there, the guest speaker was Huzaifatul Araj. He's a poet, I think a Yemeni poet, right? A Syrian poet. And in one of his abiyat, he has said that إِذَا الدُّنْيَا بَكَتْهُ بِكُلِّ عَيْنٍ فَجَنَّاتُ النَّعِيمِ بِهِ أَحَقُّ. And he praising somebody. إِذَا الدُّنْيَا بَكَتْهُ بِكُلِّ عَيْنٍ. If the world cries for him with every eye, فَجَنَّاتُ النَّعِيمِ بِهِ أَحَقُّ. Then the heavens is more deserving of him. So the host asks him, okay, what if people do not cry for him when he died? What if people do not cry for him? Is it that he doesn't deserve the heaven or the heaven doesn't deserve him? Then he said, La. And he told him, in your poem, you do that a lot. But what you do is that, and it's a very beautiful style. يعني إذا الدنيا بكته بكل عين فجنات النعيم به أحق. The جنات النعيم به أحق is not the جواب الشرط. The جواب الشرط is actually محذوف, and فجنات النعيم به أحق is إلة الجواب المحذوف. And they gave this other verse. I think when he called the poet's attention, the poet gave this other verse. إن يمسسكم قرح, in the Quran, فقد مس القوم قرح مثله. if you are affected by some injury or some calamity befalls you, فَقَدْ مَسَّ الْقَوْمَ قَرْحٌ مِثْلُهُ. A people before you were also affected by same kind of injuries. So the فَقَدْ مَسَّ الْقَوْمَ قَرْحٌ مِثْلُهُ does not become the جواب الشرط of إن يمسسكم قرح. Whether يمسسكم قرح or not, those people before you, the قرح had already affected them. Jamil. So it is like saying إن يمسسكم قرح فاصبروا فقد مس القوم قرح مثله. That is where the meaning comes. So what is mentioned there that seems like the جواب الشرط is actually the إلة الجواب المحذوف. So what happens here is that a sentence has been omitted here, which is the فاصبر or فتعس واصبر. وحذف الأكثر, sometimes more than a sentence is omitted. نحو قوله تعالى فأرسلون يوسف أيها الصديق. Let's see the verses. So it says وقال الذي نجا منهما وقال الذي نجا منهما وادكر بعد أمة أنا أنبئكم بتأويله فأرسلون. When Sayyidina Yusuf was in the prison, he explained the dreams of two people, and one was going to be killed, one will survive and work with the king. So he told the one who will survive that when you go mention me to your master, he forgot. When the person went, he forgot. Something happened, the king dreamt and people were struggling to explain the dream of the king. So this servant remembered, oh, there was somebody that explained my dream for me and it came to reality. So he told them that Arsilun is what? Arsiluni ila Yusufa. Send me to Yusuf. Then he says, the verse continues, Yusufu ayyuha siddiqu aftina fi sab'i baqarat. The moment he says Arsilun, send me, then it continues, Yusuf, oh, give us the explanation of a dream that contains what is hidden here. The context that is hidden here is that when he told them to send him, they accepted that, okay, we send you. They sent him. And when he went to Yusuf, he told Yusuf, Yusuf ayyuha. So all these sentences I'm talking about in the middle are omitted. And how are they? It is like this. Ay arsiluni ila Yusufa li asta'abirahu ru'ya. Send me to Yusuf so that I'll ask him about the vision. فَفَعَلُوا. So they did. They sent. فَأَتَاهُ. He went to Yusuf. وَقَالَ لَهُ. And he said to him, يَا يُوسُفُ أَيُّهَا الصِّدِّيقُ كَذَا 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 كَذَا. All these expressions, إِلَى يُوسُفَ لِيَسْتَعْبِرَ الرُّؤْيَا فَفَعَلُوا فَأَتَاهُ فَقَالَ. All this is not mentioned because the context shows. So more than a sentence has been omitted. So when we come to إيجاز وحذف, it can be حذف الكلمة, حذف الجملة, or حذف أكثر من جملة. Jamil. This brings us to the end of the أقسام الإيجاز. Jamil. And all the details that has been mentioned in between, I hope we pay attention to it. And whatever that is not understood, please do well to call my attention to clarify, inshallah. Till we meet again on our next session, have a very good Arabic time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.